This is the Toronto Marlies Top 10 of 2019. Number 10, Growler contribution. The development path within this organization doesn't start with the Marlies, and that is clear with the resources focused in the ECHL's Newfoundland Growlers. The Growlers captured the Kelly Cup in the team's inaugural season, and two of the team's contributors have found a home with the Marlies this season. Hudson Ellenach, who had 15 points in 16 games en route to the Kelly Cup, has played over 20 games with the Marlies this season. Christian Rubens has found a home on the blue line with over 30 AHL games on his resume and a first goal scored earlier in December against the San Antonio Rampage. Number 9, overtime. The Marlies had 12 overtime winners in 2019. That's the most in franchise history. What might be more impressive is they continued a streak started in 2017 during the Calder Cup playoffs with 8 straight overtime wins in the postseason before getting knocked out of the 2019 Calder Cup playoffs with a 4-3 defeat in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals in double overtime against the Charlotte Checkers. Number 8, hat tricks. Hat tricks, hat tricks. If you search the confines of the Coca-Cola Coliseum, you won't find a shortage of hats around the building. The Toronto Marlies scored 5 hat tricks in the calendar year of 2019. Chris Mueller potted a natural hat trick in a 3-0 win against Laval on March 30th. Adam Brooks had 2 in 2019, including Game 3 versus Rochester to sweep the series. Michael Carcone would earn his hat trick in the 3rd round against the Charlotte Checkers, completing it in overtime.
Sheldon in front of him. Wade shoots, scores! Michael Carcone!
Kenny Agostino also added a hat trick in the 8-4 victory over Texas.
Rocco cross, shot, scores! Kenny Agostino, take your hat off!
Number 7, Korshkov, coming in hot. Igor Korshkov, the 31st pick overall in 2016, would make his Toronto Marlies debut as the team opened the 2nd round of the 2019 Calder Cup playoffs against the Cleveland Monsters. He would score his first goal in his first playoff game. The Marlies would open the 2019-20 regular season with Korshkov netting a goal in each of his first 5 games. He would score 3 at even strength, 1 on the power play, and 1 shorthanded. Number 6, dialed in goaltending. Check your goaltending calendar for the Casimir Kaskisuo 2019. He was 27-10-5 with 4 shutouts in 2019. The Marlies added Joseph Wall to the mix come the 2019-20 season, and he would get his first start and first shutout same day in Manitoba with 23 saves as the Marlies would go on to win that game 4-0. Penalty shots are up this season against the goaltenders with 3 already on the books. All 3 have been denied, and denied. Nick Paul, Jordan Nolan, Mackenzie Entwistle have all been afforded the opportunity, and all have been stopped. Number 5, Jeremy Bracco and Chris Mueller, the connection. Jeremy Bracco and Chris Mueller found instant chemistry together in the 2018-19 season. Bracco finished 2nd in AHL scoring with 79 points in 75 games, a club record. Mueller would finish 3rd in AHL goals with 33. Number 4, the hot start at home. Hay in the barn, as the saying goes, and the Marlies certainly stockpiled their share to start the 2019-20 season, going 12-1 with home ice advantage, which included a 12-0 record on their home ice at Coca-Cola Coliseum. This has been their best start in team history. The run would showcase the team's 600th win all-time. The wins over Texas were the first time the 2 teams had met since the Marlies won the Calder Cup June 14, 2018. And the Marlies would outscore their opponents 53-30 at home in this stretch. Number 3, if you develop them, they will go. During the calendar year of 2019, many players would earn their first ride from the exhibition ground to the big rink on Bay. Trevor Moore would make his debut at the end of 2018, but went concrete into the lineup after scoring his first NHL goal January 5th, 2019. Just the 5th game into his NHL experience. Dmytro Timoshov's summer work in 2018 season made his an opening night roster addition for the Leafs. And number 1 draft pick of 2018, Rasmus Sandin, turned heads at camp. Timoshov scored in just his 6th game.
Turns, fires, scores!
The hard work and incredible perseverance with his craft got Kazimir Kaskisuo a chance. Pierre Engvall's smooth stride was noticed, and he noticed his first goal came just 2 games into his NHL debut. That night was also Sheldon Keefe's first night behind the Maple Leafs bench. Number 2, the Marlies' 8-0 playoff run. While the regular season only produced 39 wins, the playoff edition of the Marlies turned a sharp corner. Waiting for a first-round 5-game set were the North Division champions, the Rochester Americans, who had been purpose-built to go deep into the playoffs. A team only glimpsed at during the regular season showed up in the playoffs, and then some for the Marlies in what was a stunning reversal of regular season fortunes. Kazimir Kaskisuo emerged into an unbeatable force in the first game, stopping 15 shots in the first period alone. The Marlies offense arrived as well to take Game 1 4-1. The Amerks, determined to write their own story, powered through Game 2 only to have it tied on them, and then Jeremy Bracco left the Rochester faithful in shock as he scored in overtime. When the series shifted back to Toronto, Adam Brooks owned the ice with a hat trick and sent the Amerks team home, wondering what had happened. Cleveland had also had a first-round upset over powerful Syracuse, but didn't have an answer offensively for Kazimir Kaskisuo. His shutout in Game 3 was a series highlight and a statement game. 2 sweeps established the Marlies for the 3rd round and a reckoning force. A Game 1 win meant the Marlies had rattled off 8 playoff wins in a row, 9 if you count the Calder Cup victory. Charlotte turned up the heat in the conference final, and the bounces that had fallen the Marlies' way suddenly bounced the other way. The Checkers would go on to win the Calder Cup, something that was familiar to Marlies fans all decade long. The team that beat them in the playoffs usually ended up winning it all. Number 1, Sheldon Keefe's promotion and Greg Moore's hire. Under Sheldon Keefe, the Marlies have developed and prepared more than the usual number of prospects for an American League team. These prospects have gone on to play their first game with the Maple Leafs largely because of the work that has been accomplished by Keefe and his enthusiasm for player development and his work with Scott Pellerin. Each and every player is afforded the route to the NHL with great support. Sheldon Keefe was promoted to the head coach position with the Leafs on November 20th after compiling a record of 199, 89, 22, and 9 and a .672 winning percentage. That is the best record in the history of the AHL amongst coaches with a minimum of 200 games coached. His teams won the regular season title twice. He went to the conference title game twice and brought Toronto its first Calder Cup, all in just 4 seasons with the Marlies. December 1st, the Marlies organization hired Greg Moore to be the new head coach of the Marlies. Moore reported December 16th with his first game in Belleville on the 21st. In the interim, the Marlies were coached by assistants A.J. McLean and Rob Davison, who earned a 7-5 victory over 12 games.
This has been the top 10 moments of 2019.